friends, this is the Junes of the Junes TV. Thank you for stopping by and you're welcome. I don't know how many of you remember the video I did about the African American who came to Ghana and established the African Ancestral Wall. Well, that's where I am today. Now we are here once again at the African Ancestral Wall in Ningo Pram Pram, where we're coming to celebrate or remember, our heroes and heroines of and in Africa. All right, today is their third annual anniversary celebration for the ancestors, people who have fought for Africa one way or the other, who have made significant impact in Africa. So we're here to to see some nice things, eat, of course, have a nice time and do some sightseeing. All right, I hope you enjoy, and do kindly subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next clip. Hello, please can we kindly meet you?
Okay. Oh, you can.
Okay. What's your name, please?
I'm Kofi.
Okay.
And I'm a tour operator and also an historian and Pan-African as well.
Okay. So is this your first time here?
No, actually I've been here more than a couple of times.
Okay, but is this your first annual celebration?
Yeah, this is my first annual celebration.
Okay, so what do you hope to expect?
I'm expecting that I love children, so I just want to see the children playing the roles of these ancestors, and I want to see what the children ask for us. Okay. Yeah, that's what I want to see. Okay. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
My name is Malevna Hester Johnson and I'm 10 years old.
Oh, you're 10. You're so beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay, so what are you wearing?
So it's actually an outfit made out of the Marcus Garvey colors. So that's what I'm going to use for the program.
For those of you who may not know, some of you might or might not know, this is Mr. Johnson's daughter. Are you the first? No, you have a brother, yeah? So how long did it take you to learn all of this? Because I once watched a video of your brother and he did so well. I mean, he knew everything. So how long did it take you guys to learn it?
It took a while because we're actually homeschooling. So during that time, we learned a lot in history. We learned a lot about the people on the walls, and we read a lot of historical facts and watched documentaries, and Daddy taught us more about the people and the people on the wall. Yes. So it took a while, about 1 year before I could know a lot. 1 year and a half. Yes.
We also want our young people to understand what has to be done for the future. Now, some of you have been through the Ancestral Wall. You know that we started it to bring the students to do what we call field trips or excursions. Because going into the schools, we realized there's really not enough of the history that we would like to have in the schools. So we created the wall so that we could begin to bring the students through the wall, adults too, but primarily the students. But what we would like you to see and understand, talking to some of the younger people who are out there, and especially in this case, some who are from the U.S., what the interest in Africa was, and hopefully how you can begin to really appreciate what you have and what you can do with what you have.
Bob Jerry came to us and asked us to just kind of share with y'all some of the reasons that we're here and what our interests are in Africa in general. And for me, I think I can put it as simple as I want to be able to contribute my energy towards something that we can all call our own.
Hello everybody, my name is Jawabu. I am also from the States, from Georgia, and I recently just finished university. I studied African American studies, and through my studies at university, I realized what I was learning was just a watered down version of my history. So I went out and I searched for more, and I found more, and it brought me back to Africa. And that's why I'm here today. So I'm here to really get an experience so I can really know what it is here on the motherland where my ancestors came from.
Hi everyone, my name is Haven. I recently graduated from the university as well, this past May. And I was an international affairs major, and that was the opposite of anything to do with international affairs. It taught everything pro-European. You never saw a face that looked like ours. Growing up, you never saw a face that looked like ours. Representation was small, little. It depleted the soul, depleted how we looked at ourselves, made us feel small, powerless. But I feel like the most power I felt was when I touched down here.
I'm Dandara. I'm from Georgia. I am an educator, a teacher. What brought me here is my spirit and being robbed of my history and understanding that I was broken and living a life that wasn't me. So I'm here to reconnect. I'm here to educate. I am here for you, for me, for the world, African world, to connect, to build.
All right, my name is Omawale, and as many of them said, I graduated from what they call a top 15 university in the States. As they said, you know, this is a top university. I became a teacher at this university, but they don't teach anything that relates to us. I promise you that, as they've mentioned, two words that keep coming to mind is spirit and work. In the US, myself, I lost my spirit. You'll realize that your entire mind is flipped upside down. You're not even thinking in the proper way that you naturally would without the impressions that they place upon us and the projections that they put upon us. And it's a very spiritless land that is very sick. It's meant to look pretty, and it's meant to look fabulous with all the jewelry, the cars, you know, a Lamborghini or any of these things that they put in front of our faces.
That we built.
That, yes, you know, even the Capitol, a place that we built, right? But none of that stuff we own. None of that stuff comes back to us. Every single thing that is there, that we place our hands on and make in abundance, they take it and turn it, flip it, they reverse it, and then they make it theirs.
My name is Adelaide Holdbrook from the Rena Cavalry Academy. Please, good morning. Please, I want to ask you guys this question. I can see most of you have lived your life in the white man's land. So how will you be able to cope with us here in Ghana and be able to maintain our culture here?
That is a real good question. I think it starts with us making the first connection. So, you know, this is my second time in Ghana in 2 months. I plan on being here again in a few months, and I'm looking to be here long term one day. So, I mean, just making those real life connections. I met my mans this morning, we was chatting it up real good. I done met so many people here that feel familiar. It's not like I'm meeting strangers. You know, so I think just leaning on those connections, those relationships, and letting that grow and flourish, and then continuing to go back. You know, when I got here a few months ago, I was talking with a brother, and he told me that when you first come, you really got to have a sense of humility because you're still new to the place. People can tell you're not from here just by the way you walk. And I know that's true. Back home, we had the same kind of eyes. If you're not from a certain area, I can see it on you. You can't hide it. You know, so you just got to be humble.
Does this mean that you can live here with us without being irritated about the things we do?
It's not that different. It's really not.
Okay, thank you.
I have been here in Ghana for the last 12 years. My first trip to Africa was 40 years ago, in 1981, where I went to 5 African countries. And since that time, I've gone to a total of 18 African countries. I'm a retired educator from the U.S., and I taught African American studies while I was teaching. I took a group of my students in 1993 to Senegal and the Gambia, where they stayed for 1 month as exchange students. So we do have teachers and those who are teaching about the African culture. Now I want you to repeat after me. We are you and you are us.
What a sister here, Mama Erna, has just said is very important. And it's very important that we come at each other. Couldn't you hear me? I couldn't hear me. As family and not as antagonists. Because the very system that has that enslaved us and colonized us has intentionally tried to make us enemies, made us, fight each other.
I'm dark. I have no shame in being dark.
All right.
My sons are lighter than me.
All right.
Where's my son? Shane. This is my son, because this is my wife. Shane. But I am African. I was born in America, but I am from Africa because that's where my people are from. They were stolen. You have to remember that.
I'm from Charleston. I'm a Gullah Geechee. So when they brought our ancestors over, a lot of my family stayed in Charleston. And so they made us ashamed because I'm so dark. But I tried so hard to be white. I was a black white woman. I was educated in their system. I thought if I just kept doing what they told me to do. I tried the ambi, I tried to bleach, I had the weaves, I did all that, and I still didn't fit in their system.
See, you are one of the bravest people I've ever seen.
Steve Biko, you are one of the smartest young men I've ever heard.
I can't wait to learn more. My first question, where were you from and what was your early life like?
I was born in Montgomery, Mississippi.
Mississippi? Where did that name come from?
It came from the native red people called the Ojibwe, who lived in America before the whites came from Europe. It means Great River. You can tell that Mississippi is not a European name.
Oh, I see.
Anyway, I was the youngest of 20 children. My mother and father had their own cows, but someone killed them all with poison. I'm sure it was them white folks. Soon, we had to move on and work on their plantations. It was just like slavery. We farmed and picked cotton.
I learned you like to read when you were a small girl.
Yes, I read any book I could get my hands on. I loved reading.
After you grew up, what did you do?
Well, I didn't like the fact that black people were treated so bad. We weren't allowed to go where we wanted, live where we wanted, or even eat where we wanted. We wanted to change things, but the white Americans wouldn't even let us vote, but we tried.
Greetings. I have always wanted to talk to a member of the Great Nomitom Amazon Female Army of Dahomey.
Thank you. And I have always thought you were one of our brightest young leaders, Mr. Morris Bishop.
Well, let us get started. I will call you General, if you don't mind.
No problem.
General, where are you from? And how did you get to be a top soldier?
I am from Dahomey. It is a country now known as Benin. I am a part of a larger group called Epe. The Ewas of Togo and Ghana are my cousins. So how did I become a soldier? I came from a woman named Hampe. She was a queen who started using women as a bodyguard. She trained us to be the first female Fon warriors. The Fon people have free for hundreds of years. We have had our languages, our customs, our heroes, our ancestors and our festivals, and we believe we should stay that way.
Did you live in peace?
Well, most of the time, but over the years, we have had battles with other groups who tried to take our territory. To be honest, sometimes we also move to take some of theirs.
If any of you have been to Brazil, you'll see that in Bahia and going into the northern parts of Brazil, Zumbi is a household name. And they're celebrating him all over Brazil today. So it just so happens that the Spirit has brought us to choose Zumbi as one of those who we are honoring today.
Queen Amanarinos of Ancient Kush, what a pleasure to meet you.
I always wanted to sit and talk to you. The pleasure is mine. Please.
Thank you. I always tell the children the story of the great Amanarinos from the upper part of the Nile Valley called Kush. I really should use the word Kandaki instead of queen, because that is what your people call the queen.
Yes, I was one of the many Kandakis in the early days.
Please tell me more about yourself.
Okay, I was once TBC in the Libyan kingdom of Kush. Today, that would be somewhere near northern Sudan and southern Egypt. In those days, Sudan and Egypt were not separate countries. They were all part of the African civilization near the Nile River.
Now, I know we controlled Egypt for thousands of years. Were Africans still in control of Egypt at this time?
No, not at this time. It was true we controlled Egypt for a very long time. But during my time, the Europeans from Rome had taken charge. Before then, it was the Greeks. But they all came there long after Africans made their nation great. Anyway, the Romans decided they wanted to invade Kush into the south to be the boss over all the people there. I guess they were not satisfied of having Egypt.
You are Harriet Tubman. No, sir, you too. Both of you are Harriet Tubman. These two are Baby Ray. Baby Ray was from Sierra Leone. Some of you may have heard of the Great Hut Tax Wars. Very, very brave Harriet Tubman. Some of you from the U.S. will know about her. Our youngsters here have studied them some and are ready to tell you about their lives. Dialogue with Baby Ray and Harriet Tubman.
Harriet Tubman, what a pleasure to talk with you.
Oh, brother Baby Ray, I'm honored to speak with you too.
We lived about the same time. I was born of the Temne and local people of Sierra Leone, and you were born in America as a slave in a state called Maryland. Where did you come from in Africa?
I'm not sure. When our ancestors were taken from Africa by the Europeans, all of us lost our names and our families. After many years, we didn't know where in Africa we came from.
So, it is possible that you are a Temne or local sister of mine, but your family name was stolen from you.
It is possible, but I don't know. That is one reason I hated slavery in America.
Well, we are still proud of you because you did everything that you could to help the Africans escape from America in the slave plantations that they were trapped on in. How did you grow up?
It was difficult. The whites wanted us to work all the time, but the worst part was the beatings.
Ma'am, say hello.
Hello, my name is Farilia LeBlue, also known as LeBlue.
Do you live here in Ghana?
I do.
So is this your first time attending this remembrance for the ancestors?
It's my first time attending the remembrance, but I have been to Jerry's Place Ancestral Wall maybe once or twice a month.
Okay, so far, has it met your expectation? Everything that has happened this far? Yes, today.
Oh, it's exceeded my expectations. I expected to come and see the portraits of the ancestors on the wall, but what's interesting is how Jerry has incorporated the local schools in the program, and these children have learned so much about history, black history around the entire world. And to see them do these scenes, and they can remember all the dialogue, and they're learning so much about black people that a lot of young children have never even heard of. So no, it exceeded my expectations, yes.
Would you come again?
Every year, yes, I would.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you.
It is truly a pleasure to meet you. Oh, the pleasure is mine. The other ancestors and I have watched you for a long time. You have shown again the brilliance of the African mind. Me? How about you? After all, you are the world first known multiple genders. An architect, an engineer, a poet, an astronomer, a scribe, and of course, the world first known medical doctor. We have studied your work done on the ancient black civilization of Kemet. Well, I did my best, but there were a lot of brilliant Africans around, so I did not learn everything on my own. We enjoy admiring your work on the huge set pyramid. Thousands of years after you built it, just millions of large blocks. What a beautiful building. Oh, yes, the Pharaoh asked me to do it. I really enjoyed the mathematics and thinking that we used to build it. We built them at a place called Saqqara in Kemet. It was over 200 feet high. We are all impressed with how well you and other Africans understood astronomy.
Good afternoon, my queen, Queen Hatshepsut, pharaoh in the 18th dynasty of Africa's ancient Kemet. For those of you who did not know, Kemet was the land that Greeks renamed Egypt, but that was thousands of years after the black Africans created that civilization.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. It is my pleasure to meet such a great and brilliant historian, keeper of our history.
Queen, some people didn't know that ancient Kemet also had African female pharaohs. The television, the school, and the church of today tell us that Egyptians and pharaohs were not African, and they were all men, like this.
What? Well, someone is not telling the truth. The truth is that for a short time, some white god Hysos invaded our black land. But thanks to our Pharaoh Hammuz I, they were kicked out of our nation.
Why?
Very, very bad behavior. If we let them stay, they will have spoiled our civilization.
This is Apoka Kariara is a far from Bokataka. One day, young Apoka and her mother settled in a place called Bukini. This was the time when Africans were being caught by slaves and sent to work as slaves outside of Africa. One day, the slaves came and they didn't see any men. So they saw Apoka Kariara pounding a pistol to the below. They asked her where the men were, and she couldn't understand their English. So she pretended to point the pistol to the bush. Right on the slave water, Apoka quickly used the pistol to hit his head, and he collapsed and died instantly. The rest never came back. She said, they say, Tandunga, which means the pistol